Well, for more on what this earthquake means for the economic recovery around the world, we are joined over the phone from Palm Beach, Florida, by billionaire investor, legendary investor, chairman, co-founder, and CEO of W.L. Ross & Company, Wilbur Ross. Wilbur, always great to talk with you.
Good to talk with you.
Okay, so Wilbur, tell me what you think, because I was reading some headlines this morning. Some are saying, look, these economic headwinds that we've been talking about is turning into an all-out hurricane when you factor in what's happened in Europe and the latest what's happened in Japan. What do you think?
Oh, I don't think the earthquake is of that sort of proportion, nor is the tsunami. I think it's a terrible human tragedy because some people have lost their lives. But as far as I can tell, the actual amount of damage is not that consequential. And the high probability is that a lot of it is insured in any event. For many, many years, Western insurance companies have been writing earthquake insurance in Japan as a means of diversifying their risk pool away from just the hurricanes that we sometimes have on the East Coast.
Right.
So I think that while there will obviously be some damage, hopefully not much more in the way of human life loss, my best opinion is that it'll be containable.
What do you think what do you think the economic officials in Japan are going to do to make sure that what you say is true, that the economic damage won't be as much as some of the physical damage that we've seen?
Well, remember, in the aftermath of an earthquake, there will be more construction activity because there'll be some structures that'll have to be rebuilt. So in a perverse way, that would actually tend to stimulate that part of the economy. So you're not talking so far, from what I've seen in the news reports, not talking about massive destruction of Tokyo or Osaka or any of the major cities. So while it's an issue, I would put it more in the proportions of the New Orleans problem relative to the U.S. economy rather than something more severe than that from an economic point of view. So,
Wilbur, does that mean then that you stay constructive on the markets, especially the U.S. markets?
Well, I don't think that the earthquake should change one's view particularly, and I notice it's apparently the tsunami has had some impact on Hawaii, but also not nearly
but very little so far.
Yeah, not nearly as much as people had feared. I was more concerned that perhaps things in Saudi Arabia would get out of hand, but it doesn't seem as though so far that has become too big a problem.
No, at least not for today. So then, Wilbur, any of the events, I mean, I'm not just talking about Japan, but what has gone on in the last couple of weeks in the Middle East, is any of that changing in some ways the way you're investing?
Well, I think you're aware that we have taken a stake in the natural gas industry.
Yes.
Not so much as a substitute for a hedge against what's going on in the Mideast. But I do think that the problems in the Mideast yet again emphasize we must cut our dependence on foreign oil. And I think one of the logical ways to do so would be more use of gas, natural gas. We've now found something like 100 years supply of natural gas. It's far less pollutive than is oil, and it's also far more economical per BTU of energy. So it seems to me that if I were the administration, I would be really promoting natural gas. And to the degree that there are concerns about some of the technicalities of fracturing, I think the government should be contributing to the solution rather than exacerbating the problem.
So, Wilbur, real quickly then I take from all that you've said that you will continue to buy here in the U.S. Then you think that whatever correction we have here in the markets, you'll continue to be a buyer?
Yeah, on a selective basis. I believe we're going into a period where it won't be a stock market, it will be a market of individual stocks. And I think, therefore, that one is going to have to be very, very careful about individual security selection.
Wilbur, thank you.